When you Google cardio for fat loss, you see two opposing views. One, that you don't actually need cardio, and two, cardio is the best thing for fat loss. But when you actually look at the science, it's actually quite surprising. In this video, I'm gonna give you the science-backed methods to use cardio for fat loss. If you're new here, my name's Adam. I'm a registered and certified sports nutritionist and online transformation coach. When you think about it logically, cardio burns calories, and we need a calorie deficit to lose weight, right? So the more cardio we do, the more calories we burn, and the more fat we lose. According to a 2016 paper led by Herman Poncer, who wrote the book Burn, our bodies adapt over time to burn less calories doing the same physical activity. And on top of that, we are subject to something known as the constrained energy expenditure model. So this model states that even if we burn more calories doing the cardio, over the course of the day, we'll move less and expend less calories and actually burn less throughout the day, so it will actually balance out. So now you're probably thinking, what about HIIT, high intensity interval training? So I used to co-run a studio. I used to be all about HIIT. I used to be all about doing HIIT classes like in a boot camp style format. 50% of the time, this studio would actually do HIIT classes, like small group HIIT classes. But I noticed one thing amongst pretty much all the members. They would all say how beat up their body was and how tired they were following the workout. Lo and behold, a fairly recent meta-analysis looked at high intensity exercises such as sprinting or interval training on a bike versus low to moderate intensity such as walking or on a bike, and they found no significant differences in fat loss. That didn't really surprise me based on what we know about the constrained energy expenditure model, but what did surprise me was that there was not much effect on fat loss versus actually doing nothing. Average fat loss was 0.5 pounds over 8 weeks when doing an average of 30 minutes a week for HIIT or 120 minutes a week for low to moderate intensity exercise. This doesn't mean that cardio doesn't work. This just means that cardio at that dose is not effective on its own for fat loss. Sure, if you did like an hour to an hour and a half of cardio every single day, over time you would lose a lot of fat, a lot of weight in fat, but that's not sustainable and that's not practical for pretty much all of you watching this. And let's not forget to mention that you'll probably lose a lot of muscle doing this. Now let's look at a 2023 meta-analysis which compared several different methods for fat loss and found cardio alone to be the least effective method for fat loss. The best methods were a combination between physical activity, some form of physical activity, and the correct nutritional adjustments, a high protein diet and a calorie deficit. Let's put it this way, it's way easier to eat 500 calories less a day than it is to burn 500 calories from exercise. So does that mean no cardio? Not in the slightest. What it means is you need a strategic approach to cardio, to incorporating cardio, and not primarily relying on cardio. First of all, I want to say cardio is important for heart health and just your overall health. So if you do have the extra time, you do want to include some cardio. But if you have a very active job, let's say you're a builder or you do something physical, then when it comes to fat loss, you likely won't need to include extra cardio. However, if you're like me or most of my clients and you're desk bound most of the day, then you're gonna need to be more intentional and actually include some cardio. This isn't me being a lazy meathead, but what you wanna do for fat loss, according to the research, is prioritize 3 to 4 resistance training sessions a week, each lasting between 30 to 60 minutes, somewhere between that range. And then you want to prioritize having a higher protein diet with a calorie deficit. That appears to be the best combination for fat loss. As you diet, your body chooses to burn fat, muscle, or a combination between the two. If we do resistance training, a well-structured progressive resistance training program will at the very least, maintaining muscle mass. So that means more fat will be burnt in the long run. Alongside that, for an additional calorie burn and all the other health benefits, and just to generally speed up fat loss, you can aim to get between 8 to 12,000 steps a day. I suggest doing that by primarily walking, but if you struggle to get your steps in by walking, say the weather's bad or something similar, then what you can do is you can throw in 2 to 3 sessions of like intentional cardio a week. That's low to moderate intensity. You can throw some of these sessions in at the end of your resistance training session. Say you complete a resistance training session, you can spend 15 to 20 minutes on an incline treadmill, for example. That's an increase of step count. On a Stairmaster, doing low to moderate intensity work on a rowing machine, an exercise bike, or something similar. Then let's say you're doing your resistance training. You're getting in between 8 to 12,000 steps in every single day. What you can do is you can either choose to eat less or to exercise more. This depends on the schedule you have and the time you have available and the time you want to dedicate towards this. But what you can do is, well, probably the easiest option at that point is to include some cardio. Maybe you throw in 2 to 3 sessions a week of low to moderate intensity cardio. You use something like the elliptical trainer, use the rowing machine, an exercise bike, an incline treadmill, whatever the case, because all those are going to be low impact. So just to recap, prioritize resistance training 2 to 4 sessions a week. Then your cardio, as in walking, so between 8 to 12,000 steps every single day on average. And then calorie deficit alongside a high protein diet. Those things are going to drive fat loss more than anything. Then what you can do is you can include some cardio when you hit a plateau. That's like 3 weeks without any results, or you can just throw in some cardio if you have the extra time or you can't get in the steps. Anyway, that's all for this video. Any questions at all, comment below. Deeper questions, feel free to send me a message on Instagram @AdamScottFit. Have the best day ever, and we'll talk soon.